Hello and welcome to Soups and Sabers. My name is Jordan. Happy May 4th, as we are going to bring our drafts to the Star Wars side of the galaxy here. Today with me is Ron. How are you, Ron?
I'm doing great, man. Like you said, we got another fun draft here ready to go. We're going to have more fun than a Chandrillan wedding here tonight. So it's going to be a pretty great time. It's going to be a pretty great time.
Sounds great. We also have Tiara.
Hey, hold on. You know, whoever said that I was planning that Chandrillan wedding line all day and that I was just waiting to force it into a conversation? No, that's not true.
No one said that, Ron. Nobody said that. You're fine.
Oh, carry on. Sorry.
Also with us today, we have Tiara. How are you today, Tiara?
Hi, good. Thanks for having me back.
Third time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Getting close to the fifth.
And I am here for Ron's joke, all right? Like, I get it. I get you. I see you.
Yeah.
You are heard.
Glad someone. They haven't watched it. They haven't watched it yet. They get a pass.
Yeah.
And we have Sean today. How are you today, Sean?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for people that don't know, actually I said third time, but actually this is everybody's first time on the new banner, Soups and Sabers. But Tiara was on a few episodes of The Pod Awakens, where we talked Star Wars, and Sean was on a couple as we did the, I forget what books we covered, but we covered some books on the road to the Acolyte over there.
It was the Rising
Storm, and then I think we did one of the comic runs. But yes, so good to have everybody back. Getting the Star Wars gang together.
We have a very blue aesthetic, I'm noticing. Like, just all four of us, like, with our backgrounds and everything.
I guess my chair.
Yeah.
Very in sync.
Blue.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
All right, so if you've never listened to one of our drafts before, the way that it typically works, we have 4 people, 5 rounds, and a snake-style draft where we are going to be drafting our Jedi Council. Maybe we can even change it to the High Jedi Council, right? Since it's a kind of like 5 names per person. But this will be just up to however you want to approach it. You know, I think Sean reached out to me when I was asking and said, like, is there any, like, is it just the rule of cool? Is it, I need to have a wise one. I need to have a brute, all that kind of stuff. It's whatever you want in that regard. And people that are listening along, you will also be able to let us know who had the best draft in a poll coming later this week. You can also leave comments and tell us how wrong we were at our picks on who is the clear number 1 or whatever. Okay, Ron, do you have the order, and would you like to share it to the class here?
I would. You lucky son of a gun, you are at number 1. Sean is going to be number 2. I'm going to be number 3, and Tiara, you are going to be taking up the back end. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it'll be snake style. So you'll have 2 in a row.
That could be the best spot. It could be the worst spot. We'll find out as we go.
Yeah. Much anxiety in this spot at the moment.
I'm happy I got first, but then I was like, all right, now I have to wait like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 more picks before I can pick my second pick. Okay, so I guess we'll just dive in here. The number 1 pick. Drum roll. I think this is the clear number 1 pick. I think people will argue with me on that, but I do have Obi-Wan Kenobi as my first pick of the draft. He's my favorite Jedi of all time. I'm going Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan, by the way, not Alec Guinness, but not that matters. I'm just thinking prime Obi-Wan.
Say, yeah, let's not confuse it. Yeah, that doesn't mean someone.
I pick Alec Guinness Obi-Wan. I pick episode 3 Obi-Wan, like get in that. No, but I just want to like prime Obi-Wan is who I'm thinking here, and just because he's my favorite, because he's my guy, I have to pick him. No other real reason than that.
It's a good pick. And you have stolen my namesake.
Yes,
for this draft. So I don't really appreciate that, but all right. So I guess it's my turn then, huh? All right. So I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna take Anakin.
Anakin Skywalker. Now I have a question for you. I have a question for you. All right, is he just on the council, or are you granting him the rank of master as well?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I wasn't sure if they had to be Jedi Masters or if they could be any Jedi, right? That wasn't stipulated. And so, yeah, I mean, in this case, he's getting the Master card. So he can use it, on any planet he wants and at most watering holes.
Nice.
So,
no limit on that card. No limit.
No limit.
Finally getting the rank of Master.
Shop till he drops. So I mean, it really is more to do, or comes down to his knowledge, his strength. Yes, he's a bit unhinged at times, but I think he does it out of a place of caring, right? And so in that regard, if you're going to build out a team, you kind of need that one person who's going to be a little edgy. And Anakin fills that role on top of being, of course, the chosen one and everything like that. So Anakin's got to be my pick.
It's a great pick. I thought it was an easy one. It was going to go Obi Luke, and I thought I was going to get Anakin at 3. And my whole strategy was based on
you can tell by the monitor behind him having Anakin on there.
Yeah. My whole strategy was going to be how do I surround him with a team that's going to keep him on track? But I guess now that's kind of your responsibility here.
Yes.
Good pick though. All right, it's me at 3. I mean, I can't leave Luke Skywalker on the board.
You can't?
It's Luke. No, I can't. This draft in particular, and you know what? I won't say it, actually. I was going to say it felt like there was a big 3 in this draft, but as I'm looking at, my next little, there's still a lot of really heavy hitters on here, but, I mean, it's Luke. Luke Skywalker is Star Wars. What more do you have to say? He is the Jedi. It's just, you can't leave Luke on the board in the first round when he comes to you, especially not at 3, so I will take that value any day.
At least you get a Skywalker, right? That's a plus. Yeah. You get a Skywalker in the first round. There is still another Skywalker available in the first round. We'll see if that gets picked. But I feel like most of us are not going to have big discussions about this first round, as why we're going so quickly through it. But I think some other later picks might, cause some discussion as we go. But pretty standard opening here. So Tiara, you get 2 in a row here, but who is your first pick?
Hold on. Oh, damn it. No. I was gonna see if I could guess what your 2 were. I was gonna write them down. All right, that is one. And I'm curious here.
Yes. I love him. He is the best. I watched Tales of the Jedi episode over and over and over again because I love seeing his arc. It was beautifully done. I have a quick question though. Can I choose someone that was good but then turned bad? Who was a Jedi but then turned
Anakin.
Okay.
Was picked.
Can I do good Count Dooku?
Yes.
Qui-Gon Jinn and good Count Dooku. Those are my 2 picks.
No. I wanted Dooku.
Another guy that was kind of blown off by the council and turns bad. Count Dooku.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been a good pick for you, Sean, because he'd be hanging out with Anakin the whole time. It might turn into a Sith council over there.
Yeah. Oh man. You'd be building
shaking things up a bit.
Yeah, you'd be building the edgy boy team. Damn.
For sure.
But no, I like this. So you got Master and Apprentice on yours so far with Qui-Gon Jinn and Count Dooku. I think those were probably the best episodes of Tales of the Jedi as well. I really like anything pre-episode 1. That's why I was so excited for the Acolyte. I have a lot of fun with that pre-Phantom Menace era. So that's a good shout there. Those 2 picks.
Hell yeah. Good stuff.
Great picks.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Back to me here. Do I want to get cute early?
Get cute. Get cute. Gunji.
All right. Screw it. Yeah, let's get cute. I'm taking Cal Kestis with my second
All
pick.
right. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I took him in the lightsaber draft too, so I guess it's fitting that I have him here. But yeah, I would like Cal to be sort of my number 2, sort of learning under Luke as the heir apparent one day, the one who's gonna lead the Jedi or my Jedi Council into the future. So yeah, give me some young blood in there. It was between him and one other younger character. Who knows? Maybe I'll go back to that later in the draft here. But yeah, I feel really good about that 1-2. see a lot of corruption to the dark side going on there. Two pretty strong-willed guys.
Well, Cal does use like the dark side as well.
He does.
Doesn't
He does. I'm talking like by the end of
Okay,
everything, you know. Yeah.
All right, that's a surprising one. I like that.
Yeah, might lose me the draft. Who knows? But I'm on a heater, so I don't mind.
He's so famous. He's like so popular. I think that might win you the draft, if anything.
He is. Yeah, he is really popular. It's just I haven't really gauged out like what our like Twitter voter audience is yet in terms of like what's the main demographic there. Like, are they going to go heavy on like the big names? Do they want to see?
He's lying. He's won like the last 3 drafts. All right, so he knows what the crowd wants. He knows what the crowd needs.
He's a man of the people. He's a populist.
No, I'm not chronically online. Why would you ever say that?
All right, Sean, you have your second pick here for your council.
Definitely some interesting early picks. There's one big one that's still there that I'm kind of surprised by.
Yeah.
A couple big ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, this is like a fantasy football draft where there's 4 teams.
It's
and
stacked.
You're picking the litter.
100%.
It's stacked. So I'm going to take, again, looking for balance here. I'm going to pick Ahsoka.
That's where I thought you were going, Tiara, with your second one.
Same.
Yeah, that's our next one.
and it's all about balance. I feel like she of anyone on the council, my council, that might be able to help keep Anakin in line. It's Snips. So so it's a 1-2 duo, Sky Guy and Snips back together. I think it makes sense.
Another master and apprentice team here, which I can't do. I can't do that. Obi-Wan's masters and apprentices are all gone.
I like that though, like kind of Anakin like lead. It's like there's like a parallel universe where like that was the actual Jedi Order, and things may have actually gone really well if it was just like Anakin at the top, and like Ahsoka doesn't get sent out because Anakin's at the top, and Anakin doesn't turn to the dark side because he has Ahsoka to lean on. It's like, if you really break it down, that might have been like best case scenario for the Jedi in the prequels. So, yeah,
her departure from the council, no doubt affected him, obviously. So, I think she sticks around, and it's obviously a different story. But
I think
in this world, we get that.
He would. I think he would always turn, but like I think their biggest hope would have been discovering him at the normal age, right? Like at that age, I do feel like he was too connected with his mother that her death obviously sent him, and the fact that he started crushing on Padme like at 9 years old didn't probably help either, right? But there's also evidence to the contrary, because you have somebody like Luke who starts at 19 and ends up bringing it all down. So and he also lost his mother figure as well, and his real mother. He didn't know it though. Okay,
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, who do I want to go? Because there is some huge names, and I also have some favorite Jedi that I want to throw in here too.
You know what it feels, Jordan? You know what it feels like though? It feels like those another fantasy football reference, like the veterans that have been there for like 10 years, and it's like, you know what you're going to get out of them, but they're not going to give you that like super high ceiling. You're like, they're not sexy picks, you know what I mean?
Right.
But there's a few of them, they're like super
They're not
powerful.
Spicy picks.
Yeah.
I got a real sexy pick coming up here. I think I have to do it. I have to go Yoda as number 2.
Yeah. That's one.
Take him. No one wants him. Take him.
Boo, washed up.
Boo.
I'm taking like 800-year-old Yoda though, okay? Not 900.
Oh.
You're not taking little bog gremlin.
Not Dagobah Yoda, no. I'm taking Revenge of the Sith Yoda, where he's like top of the game, fighting, Senate pod against the Emperor. Like that's who I want on my team. Holding on with his fingernails as they dig into the pod.
going at it with Dooku, doing little guy flips in the air.
Yeah,
and
he
shit.
wasn't on my list really when I was thinking of who I would take, because I guess I just kind of didn't think he would be there at this point. So, but it kind of gives me that, like, Obi-Wan and Yoda are the two that train Luke, and I feel like, there's much to blame with what happens to Anakin, but there also is much to, like, credit which happens to Luke, I feel like. So I gotta give them some props and pick Yoda. And this is where it gets a little trickier, is my third pick. And we are blowing through these. We might need to add a 6th round because we are like 16 minutes in and blowing through this. But
true.
I am going to say, give it. He's like my favorite Jedi. I'm gonna go Kit Fisto. I gotta go with my boy. Okay.
Whoa!
I don't know if he's gonna be there anymore. I mean, like, I didn't think Cal would go that early, so I gotta pull Kit Fisto early here.
Wow! Wowza! Was not expecting that this early. I mean, he's super powerful. Like he's dope in Clone Wars and everything. And he's responsible for like one of the most legendary Star Wars memes, like with the smile on his face.
Exactly. So like, he's fighting with a smile. Like he's what a Jedi should be.
Bring that positivity. Yeah.
Hell
yeah. The positive energy.
Force pushing C-3PO as a battle droid just brings him so much joy. I love it.
It's like the Jedi propaganda commercial. They're like, like join the Jedi
today,
army.
like the army.
Like how they have the army.
I see in like Coruscant in their like virtual banners. They have him just like his face plastered everywhere.
Got your token alien on there.
Oh no! Oh god damn it! Oh wow! Yeah, wow. All right, Jordan.
Also, I just want to say, like, I really have loved Kit Fisto since episode 2. I read the novelization of episode 3 and thought, oh my god, he goes out like such a badass, because like in the novel, which came out before the movie, by the way, this is back in the day, right, when they would do that. And I read the whole thing before the movie came out, and I get to that scene in the movie where Palpatine just like kills them all like chumps, right? But like when Anakin runs in to like come back in to help Mace, he sees Kit Fisto's head just on the Emperor's desk, decapitate it, and I was like, "Oh my!"
Smiling.
Yeah, probably. But he was so cool. Like, it was so cool that I was like, "Oh man!" Like, even though he was my favorite, it's like seeing him decapitate was like, "Man, what an image!" Right? And then you get to the movie and it doesn't happen, and I was like, my whole guy goes out like bummer.
Easily the lamest like takeout of 3 Jedi.
Oh yeah. You go in there with Agent Kolar, Saesee Tin, Kit Fisto, Mace Windu. Maybe am I missing somebody, or is it the 4 of them?
There's just the 4.
And they get wrecked. I had all their action figures too.
Not even cool wrecked.
No.
Like,
I had
just kind of wrecked.
I'm pretty sure in the book, like, it lasted longer as well. But like, I remember having those toys, and after that movie, I just kind of made my own scene with them afterwards, because I was like, that was the worst part of the movie, unfortunately.
Fucking show you, George Lucas. Together. Oh man. That's so funny. Hey, Kit Fisto drew the biggest conversation of any pick so far in this draft.
I know what I'm
doing. It was a good one.
All right, Sean, third pick.
Chess, not checkers. Hell
yeah. All right, so let's see. Let's see. I kind of got to figure out which direction I want to go with this. Whether I want to just go for power, if I want, because I don't really have wisdom right now. So do I go wisdom? I'm between a couple. So I think I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to step outside of canon. Well, actually, I guess technically he is canon now. And I'm going to go with Revan.
Oh, that was interesting. He was on my list. I like that.
Me too.
Take Revan. So
it's a great pick.
I mean, I was going to say there's obviously the Knights of the Old Republic game is really the main source
Mhm.
material. But this is more of again, a sort of a power play. So I really got to backfill with some wisdom, because right now there's not a whole lot. There's a lot of shoot first and ask questions later,
Yeah.
which is what you need at times. But you also need some cooler heads. So I'm gonna have to backfill with that. But yeah, having Revan there will be.
You also have your two people that go to the dark side, and one that says, "I'm
I
no
was going to say,
Jedi."
you're
So I
building
mean,
a
you're
Sith team over there.
I'm trying to balance.
Yeah.
This is a lightsaber edge here. Like
I dig
it
it.
could
That is a cool
badly real
approach.
quick.
Yeah, that is a cool approach. I dig that. Good stuff. So wait, hold on. What do you have? Anakin,
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka,
Revan.
and Revan.
and Revan. Okay. All right. Yep. I like it. All right. Back to me. I've got Luke and I got Cal. And I think I could probably start to delve into edgy boy territory here. Give me Ben Solo.
Okay.
Obviously,
Nice.
things didn't go too well the first time that Luke and Ben Solo linked up. But I think, maybe if things had gone a different way, maybe there's a world where that could have worked. In my scenario here, it's tough because we're not really like planting the story scenario, right? Of like, how does this happen? Like, it's just like I'm taking like Ben Solo. So it's tough. Like there'd have to be a whole lot of story things that like went different from Ben's childhood, like that Cal Kestis wasn't there for or anything like that. So it's kind of tough to like gauge how all of this would be.
I
But
think it's a pretty easy way you can do it. You can have this be post Return of the Jedi. Luke is the master of his temple. Cal finds Luke and starts becoming a member of the council with him while they're training Ben, who then never turns dark and elevates to master. There you go.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you so much. You may have just won me the draft with that explanation. Very much appreciated. So yeah, and there's still going to be a little edge there. Ben Solo's got some of that in him, so I wanted at least some little hint of dark side on my team there. It's inside of him, even if it's not coming out in this iteration. So yeah, give me Ben.
All right, Tiara, you've gone 2 Jedi that are prequel. Is it continuing, or are we going to a different era here?
We are going to Rebels, and we are going to go ahead and pick Ezra
There we go.
Bridger because we need a little of the youths, the Youthians in the Jedi Council.
I was wondering when he would go, or if it would be Kanan
Yeah.
or Ezra first, like who would get picked. But Ezra's a good pick. I think he's somebody that kind of like Ahsoka started out with like a rough perception among the fans, and then has become such a fan favorite, and is now in the show Ahsoka, and that they're filming season 2 probably right now, because they said once they get back from
This week.
Celebration.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like that's pretty cool, and that he's going to have his story continued again, because he is just such a great character throughout those 4 seasons of Rebels.
Yeah, I like that even as he's older, like even in the Ahsoka show, he's still like childish. He doesn't lose that like childish mindset, but you can clearly see that he's grown in his skills and developed them on his own, like as he's been stuck on Peridia. But yeah, for sure, I just need that youth perspective because all the other ones are Zen, and Ezra kind of brings a little bit of chaos.
Always loved the wolf thing too. Just so damn cool. Like just the
Yes.
animal like
Yeah.
connection that he has. That was something that like I hadn't really like personally seen too much in Star Wars before that. It's just such a cool like another little like layer to the Jedi like power and the Force and all that. You know what I mean? I love it. Just keep
Zeb
away
puts
from
it
this.
pretty perfectly. He says, it's good when it gets weird. It's good when it gets weird like this.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I feel.
Hell yeah. Just keep him away from this guy. He's a bad influence.
Yeah.
Maul, not me. I was
Yeah, I got it.
Not me. Come on, kid.
Oh man.
All right, we got one more Tiara here, or
Yeah.
not one
She
more in the
fourth
draft.
That's
fourth
my
round.
turn. It's
Yep.
my turn again. Okay. Yeah. Gosh, do I just want to keep this like apprentice master duo going?
Mm.
Let me give this a little thought.
Mm.
You know what? Yeah, we're just gonna do it. I have some other ones on my list that I feel like you guys might pick, but we'll go Kanan. We'll add Kanan to the council.
Is he
Let's do
going
it.
by the name
Good thing you
Kanan or
did.
Caleb?
Kanan. Kanan.
Okay.
Of course. It is a good thing you took him, because I was going to tell you he was 100% going to be my pick if you didn't take him. Didn't want to snipe him from me, but yeah, no, he was definitely going to be the pick there.
Freddie Prinze
Yeah, you got
Jr.
some-
is so good. It's so good as
Oh,
Kanan.
yeah.
Like it is amazing.
Yeah.
Just like one, I love that they brought him back as young Caleb in Bad Batch, because it sounds like 40-year-old Freddie Prinze Jr. But
Yeah.
I just love that. But I grew up watching a lot of Freddie Prinze Jr. and stuff because my sister was a teenage girl. So we'd watch like what was it, Summer Catch or something that he's in with Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel
there you
was
go.
that's
Watch
right.
that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Scooby
Good
Doo,
movie.
right? The Scooby Doo movies. But yeah, he was in a bunch of stuff back then that we would watch, and knowing that he's a Star Wars fan too, and finally got to play a role in that, because I feel like he was kind of clowned on as a heartthrob for a bit. Now he got to do actual like real, doing voice acting, which a lot of times people don't realize how much goes into that or all
Right.
that. But yeah, he did a phenomenal job as Kanan.
He did.
He's probably my favorite,
and it's
of
interesting
the characters on there.
Because like Freddie Prinze Jr. is such a recognizable voice, right? And it's like when someone like that comes into something like Star Wars, like it can almost take you out of it a little bit, because you identify them with like so many other things, and Star Wars is like such its own very distinct thing. Like we've talked about this in the show, Jordan and I have, about like the concept of like big stars coming into
Gosling,
Star Wars,
right? When,
live action
Like
stuff.
Ryan,
Yeah.
like Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling.
when
Yeah.
that was announced, Ron was kind of like, "Oh, I don't know."
I was like, I don't know. And it's grown on me, and I'm now really pumped about it. But yeah, like when these people that are so well ingrained in like other things, and then they come into Star Wars, which is like something that I've over the years crafted such a very distinct like viewpoint of on my own. It almost like breaks the immersion a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like seeing a coffee cup in Game of Thrones. It just, I don't know. It feels like kind of weird. But
Did you feel like that when you watched Solo? Because Solo has a lot of big actors. It has Woody, what's
Harrelson.
his name? Forget his last name.
Harrelson,
And then the guy that plays Vision in
Paul
Marvel.
Bettany. Yes,
Yeah, Paul
Yeah.
did a little bit with Woody, not so much with
Interesting,
Paul
okay.
Bettany, but yeah, it did.
Okay.
There was another one recently.
Bettany was a
that
replacement
kinda
too. The original guy, when they did the reshoots, had to drop the role. I forget who it was.
Oh.
But yeah, then they had to throw in Paul Bettany to replace him while they were doing reshoots when Ron Howard came in.
Well, and then you had Jude Law and Skeleton
Yeah.
Crew.
And
Right,
weirdly enough, that one didn't though. I don't know why. And we talked about this exact thing, same about like why it just worked for me. It was almost like because he's been sort of like out of the public spotlight, at least in my purview, for like a while. Like, I don't know, it didn't hit me quite as hard as like the Gosling one. And like I said, it's grown on me, the Gosling thing. I'm excited for it, but it is something that I have like a weird like thing about when very famous people come into Star Wars. But Freddie Prinze Jr. did it, and like now I know him as Kanan. I don't know him as like Fred from Scooby Doo. You know what I mean? Like that's what defines him for me now. So that's Kanan's great, and it's a great pick, Tiara. Okay, back to me here for I think number 4. Let me pull up.
I was gonna say Mace Windu, like Samuel L. Jackson was a big name, and he was in Star Wars too. So
yeah, I was also
like
young, 7 when
it,
that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's where you knew him from,
like,
right?
They were just all Jedi. Yeah.
You watch Pulp
They
Fiction
weren't,
later,
like,
and you're like,
people
it's Mace
outside of
Windu.
it. Yeah.
All right, so I got Luke, I got Cal, I got Ben Solo. This is where it starts to get a little tough. Yeah, I'll take Mace. I will. I need some more, like the one, I guess, that's going to make the hard decisions in the room, sort of thing. Like even if it requires, maybe not always going the rules exactly by the book. Maybe Ben's got a little bit of that too. But for the most part, it feels like, especially if Ben Solo never gets tempted to the dark side, I have a very kind of goody two shoes team going here. So it'll be good to kind of have a little more of a, realist, real world kind of guy in the room who sees things for how they are.
Yeah, I was wondering where he would go, because he's kind of like I feel like kind of a downer in how they portray him sometimes, as being too rigid with stuff.
Yeah, by the book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say he's almost too by the book. It's like a fault, right? Like you see that in Tales of the Jedi with Dooku, right?
Yeah.
So, and hey, we need to help. No, we're here on this mission, and we're here to find this and that, and we're not straying, right? Mm. So, no distractions.
I've never been a fan of Mace, so you can take him.
There is a little bit of that, like, covering up, though, like him and Yoda, like, kind of covering up what was going on with, what was it, Palpatine? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, he does it by the books, but he's also, it's like the reputation of the Order over everything, even if that...
The ego.
Yeah. So give me some of that ego on my team. Come on. Come on.
All right. Let's go with Sean, your fourth pick here.
Okay, I'm going to go. I'm gonna go some wisdom, I think, on this one, and I'm gonna take Avar Kriss.
All right, I was worried there who you were about to take, but that is good. Okay, Avar Kriss from the High Republic.
Avar Kriss. Yes. So, I mean, again, she, for those who haven't, aren't familiar with the topic, she's, I mean, from the main characters that you eventually get attached to, outside of maybe Stellan, right? She is definitely the wisest of kind of the core trio, right? And the way that she holds everyone together during the Hetzal crisis and everything like that. It's, again, if you're looking for someone to just kind of be that connection in the Force, the song of the Force that she has, right? In the way that she's able to connect with everyone and kind of keep them grounded with kind of my group that can, again, go off the rails at times. I think she'd be a good cohesive member.
I like it. Nice. I was wondering when
I wish I had more.
High Republic would.
I'm not a High Republic.
Get picked. Yeah, you should at least read the. She features a lot more in the comics. So if you have like Marvel Unlimited, I would say just read like the High Republic line, and you'll get a good chunk of Avar in that.
Nice.
But yeah, no, good pick. Perfectly working with your team there. I was worried you were going to pick the guy that I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick him fifth, though. I'm going to go pretty by the book here for the fourth one, I think, and I'm going to take Rey Skywalker.
Working the board a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Rey Skywalker.
Okay. Nice.
She was a great character. I felt like they could have done so much more with her, though, and I'm glad that supposedly we're getting a movie, right? Yes. Hopefully sometime down the line they get the writing situation figured out. This movie will come out and give her something more to do. I kind of hope that. I think one thing that I really like about pre-episode 1 and why that is always such a thing that I kind of look to is just seeing Jedi in their prime handling threats that are not dark side users, right? Mm-hmm. And with the sequel trilogy, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't have like another Darth, and we didn't, right? They named him Kylo Ren instead. But for all intents and purposes, it was like another Sith Lord. Mm-hmm. I hope that with these post-return of Rise of Skywalker stories here, like Starfighter, that the threat isn't just like, oh, we have another Jedi that went dark, or here's a dark side Force user type of thing. Like, we got to see the Jedi handling trade disputes or whatever, right? And in some of the pre-Episode 1, stuff they were dealing, or like the High Republic dealing with pirates, dealing with that kind of stuff. There are other threats that they can handle, and I'm hoping with like a Rey movie, she's handling something like that we kind of get to see her at the top of her game and in control of the situation, and see how she handles a crisis when it's not just like, oh, this is my mentor's fallen apprentice that I have to fight, but I also kind of think he's sexy and I want to give him a smooch later type of thing. Like, I want to see her in a different situation here, and I'm hoping that that's what we get.
I can say pretty confidently, I don't think that's what we'll get the next time around.
That would be kind of crazy, wouldn't it? If it's like Leia's fallen soldier that she then develops a crush for and also wants to give him a smooch. It'd be like, all right, come on, you got to think of something else here.
Just for saying that, they're gonna do that now because they're listening. They're always listening, just to spite you.
I don't know if I told you guys this. I think I told Ron this, but there was one time where pre-Episode 3, I was hanging out with my friend Jimmy, and we would like act out lightsaber battles like a bunch of nerds and stuff, right? And this is between the time of Episode 2 and Episode 3. And literally we are just messing around, and we come up like, oh, what if there's this battle and then somebody like Yoda pushes Mace Windu out of a window, right? And then it happens in Episode 3, and we were like, was he listening? Was George Lucas? So that became a joke where like George Lucas is listening right now because he stole our idea for that. And there was another idea that happened in the third movie that we were, when they're doing the battle, Obi-Wan and Anakin, we both did the Force push outside where we both did that at each other and didn't move, and they did that in the movie. And I was kind of starting to really wonder if George Lucas was listening. And now I wonder if Kathleen Kennedy is listening.
Dude, if we get more smooching Skywalker, like, you might be onto something here. Like
Episode 10, Smooching Skywalker.
Smooching Skywalkers.
All right, so for my can we do one more round 6? Because I'm on 5.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, we're not done.
Instead of honorable mentions, because we'll still do some honorable mentions, but like I feel like our list of honorable mentions will be so long if we don't go 6. So I'll pick my 5th one here. I'm gonna pick Stellan Gios. This is who I was kind of worried you were going with, Sean, when you mentioned Wise, and I know you're on the High Republic train too. So then you said Avar, and I took a big exhale. But I love Stellan Gios. He is very similar, I feel like, to Obi-Wan, which maybe I have too many of those Obi-Wan types on my team, but he's pretty cool, and his lightsaber is badass, so I'm putting him on the team. Come on down, Stellan Gios.
Yeah, it's a strong pick. I mean, he's it would be cool to learn his story sort of his time as the council head and the poster child for, Lena So and the Republic Fair and all that stuff, right? And even post Republic Fair. I'd love to learn his story, 10, 15 years prior to that time. I'm sure it would be awesome.
Yeah. We kind of get hints to some of their relationship when they were like kids and like who was friends with who and stuff. But like seeing him like prime Stellan in the field would have been awesome.
For sure.
Back to Sean, 5th pick.
Okay, let's see. So we are going to do a 6th round?
Yeah.
Is that decided? Okay. Because I've got like a wild card that, assuming they're there in the 6th round, I will take them. I'm just going to go kind of pure skill here, coupled with the fact that we need someone who can cook, maybe not well, but who can cook. So I'm taking Porter Angle.
All right.
I'm taking the Blade.
Yeah. He is from the High Republic as
Again,
well.
another High Republic reference, but the comic series, the Blade comic series, where you get sort of peak Porter Angle, because it's hinted at in the books, but you get peak Porter Angle, and it's badass. So he's gonna join our crew.
Now explain Porter Angle to me like I'm 5.
I'm gonna share a screen of it here for you, Ron. Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah.
If it loads, but this is Porter Angle here.
That's him in his older age, and so that is in the time of probably the
Avar's time. It's around that.
Yeah. So like the Rising, like what would it be? Tales of the Jedi, not Tales of the Jedi, Light of the Jedi.
This
and
is his younger days, huh?
Yeah, and so he's got like the coolest lightsaber hilt, which you can see here in the picture. It's like that cutlass style, right? Like an old pirate. And he was like a master duelist, and there are stories upon stories that the younger Jedi have learned about him. Like he's like legend at this point. And Bell Zettifar, who's the young Jedi in the High Republic stories, he's like at this Jedi outpost where Porter Angle is, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Porter Angle!" And you're like, "Who's Porter Angle?" And so the Blade comic series really kind of fleshes out like a component of that. It's really well done. I would guess that it's probably on like a streaming type service now, like Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, it's on Unlimited now. Yeah.
So, but it's, but yeah, he's another one who kind of he's got some emotional tendencies, right, to act from the emotion, right? So he's again, he kind of toes the line, not dark side per se, but he's more emotional, which I feel like is, again, most of my group here. So,
and he can cook, like you said, he is like the cook for a while. So
it's not the best. Apparently it's quite terrible. But when you're on a Jedi outpost in the middle of nowhere, then you take what you can get.
Right,
and
it's the best food that you've ever had.
Exactly. And so he brings that rare skill that because we gotta have someone who can cook. So yeah, and he's a heck of a swordsman. So.
Good stuff.
Porter.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I learned something new.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. All right. Back to me for number 5. And I think I've decided that I'm just like going with my heart and taking people that I like. So I'm taking Jackie as my 5th.
Oh,
give me Jackie Wan.
Okay.
Bring her on down. Yeah. And guess what? She won't be killed by her awful, horrible master that I won't even get all fired up about. Fuck you, Saul. Oh God! But give me Jackie. Yeah,
Master Soul did nothing wrong. Hashtag.
I've never heard so much hatred for Soul.
Oh, yeah. Go back and watch some of our Acolytes episodes.
Yeah, I'll have to.
But yeah, no, Jackie's great. I'm a big Daphne Keane fan, so when I found out she was coming to Star Wars, I was like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
and she was great.
All they had to do was tell him that Daphne Keane was in it, and she was already his favorite.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I thought she was awesome in Logan and everything, so yeah. But yeah, she won't be killed on my team, thankfully. We will not be leading her into any missions that are entirely my own fault to begin with. We're good. She's going to be alive long-term here. She's going to be with Cal leading my Jedi Order into the future here. So give me Jackie.
All right, Tiara, are we supposed to, or is the Yord Horde going to be happy here with your next pick? Or who do we got?
Well, we aren't going towards the Acolyte. We are going to leave the hole punches for Ron. We're not going to take any Padawans that are dying over here. My next one was going to be Plo Koon because, I don't know, I feel like he really fit in with my bunch that I've got.
If Dave
going,
Filoni is voting, he has your vote, so you are safe there. He was on my list. I think he looks really cool. I had his action figure as well growing up. So,
yeah,
tons of Kit Fisto Plo Koon adventures were had in my household.
I was just gonna say, yeah, they're like both kind of in that same category. Yeah, like maybe kind of like just kind of there in the movies, but got fleshed out a lot more in the animated stuff. Became like really beloved.
I had Saesee Tinn's action figure, but it was not great, and he was not featured as much on my adventures. So don't worry, if Saesee Tinn's on your list, you're going to get him, because I am not picking Saesee Tinn. All right. So now last round. We're going to go Tiara. You kick us off on that 6th round and get one more pick.
Oh gosh. Okay. I kind of I kind of want like a troublemaker, one that everyone hates, you know? That's how I'm feeling.
Pong Krell.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to show
I was
up.
going to say go with Pong Krell.
You know what? Let's
All
do it. We're
right.
gonna do Pong Krell. We're gonna...
What?
I like it.
Oh my god!
No way.
He's like,
The
No
clone
way.
killer.
Holy shit! It's Gunji's lightsaber all over again.
It happened.
Yeah, I was just looking up a list
Yeah.
of Jedi to make sure I wasn't missing anybody, and his was one of the first names that popped up, and I was like, what? Why is that up there? But I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody will take Pong Krell.
That is great.
Throwing curveballs out here. It's a canon event. It's happening.
Pong Krell. That's great.
I have all these like really great Jedi, and then we just Pong Krell.
Wow. So you have Ezra, Kanan,
Yeah.
Qui-Gon, Dooku, and Pong Krell.
Yeah.
What a squad!
Nice.
Yeah.
Just round it
But
out.
you know what?
We know
though?
who's getting voted off the island
If
first.
it's before he's disillusioned, if it's before the clones enter, that guy can have some wielding lightsaber skills that
True.
will
Yeah.
help you going forward.
Very
That's
true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep. Let's go with that.
All right,
Good
Ron,
stuff.
last
Good
pick
stuff.
for you.
All right, my last one. I thought about doing the Yord and Jecki thing.
Or the Soul and Jecki thing?
No, definitely
There you
not.
go. Someone who's hated.
No.
Trigger him.
Oh, I kind of want to. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm taking Yord. Screw it. Give me
All
Yord
right,
and
Yord
Jecki.
Horde. You know you're going to win the
Yeah.
draft with that, because his fans are ravenous.
Good. Bring him on. The Acolyte, it's one of those things, when we obviously reviewed it on the show, and it was a show that, like, we liked, didn't love the stuff that we thought was good, we thought was really good.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that was really good was the casting and the portrayal of the characters themselves. Like, at the end of the day, characters like Yord and Jesse, Yord and Jecki, they're there for, like, a blip on the radar. But, like, they actually made you care about them in that little time. And, like, they felt like characters that you were actually invested in, to where, 4 episodes later after meeting them, like, you're actually pissed when you see them die thanks to Saul, because it's all his fault. Like, it's crazy, So
Best episode of the show was that 5th episode.
By far.
I was such a big fan of the first 5. But yeah, and then when it kind of gets thinned out, there, I feel like they kind of take some wrong paths. But like you said, the casting was great. I really love all those Jedi. They were all really good. And we get a book coming out with Yord. So
yes,
there you go. Later this year.
Hell yeah. Gonna check that out.
All right, Sean, last pick for you. This wild card. I want to know who it is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with, let's see. I think it would just create this sort of weird, well, it wouldn't be weird. I don't think there's anything. So I'm gonna pick Leia.
Oh, okay.
And have Leia on the fence. So again, wild card, like, we don't have a lot of information about her as a Jedi, right? We know she was trained as a Jedi. We see some of it, obviously, her mystically floating through space, right? Which you're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Mary Poppins. Space
Poppins.
But so that aside, right? Because at that point she's advanced, obviously, in age, from where she was trained, and so to still possess those powers, right? Her and Luke, obviously, born of Anakin, is she's going to be as strong, as strong, maybe, on the same level as Luke.
If
Maybe
they're a
not heir to
Force
the Empire, Luke,
Dyad, maybe, right?
true.
Could they be?
I mean, the way they could sense each other through the Force and stuff like that. So yeah, I think to have the daughter of Anakin, I think that would be a good final pick.
It's a great sneaky pick because you obviously don't think of it when you're you picture the Jedi, you picture all of them sitting around the room, like it's just Leia kind of like sneaks under the radar. But you're right, she was trained as a Jedi. That's a good one. It's a good pick.
I like it. All right. My last pick, Mr. Irrelevant here. I can't have Qui-Gon, so I will go with the closest thing. I'm sorry, Ron. I have to go Master Soul. My favorite character in The Acolyte. He did no wrong.
On opposite day, maybe he did no wrong.
Or in present day. But yeah, I really love the portrayal of Soul, and I really think that maybe one of the weirdest things that I have against the show, really, that doesn't stick with me as well, is that when he gets spoilers, right? When he gets killed, it feels like we're supposed to cheer, and I don't think they did enough to make me cheer for that. Yeah, you can say like he led Jecki and them to their deaths and stuff, but they really didn't know that there was like what was out there when they go on that mission. And even what he did in the past, I don't think that lived up to enough to make him a villain at that level where we're supposed to be like, yeah, like get him. So I think that's one of the things that kind of felt hollow to me in the show. And I kind of left like, who are we supposed to be? Are we supposed to be rooting for his death? Because I wasn't. And it's something that he tormented himself with, and he has that Qui-Gon-esque type of I would say like line of right and wrong. He wasn't even really the one that wanted to lie. He kind of got shut down by Carrie-Anne Moss character. I forget, I'm blanking on her name right now. Indara, right?
Master Indara.
Yeah,
Master Indara.
So if I have to pick a Acolyte character, Master Soul, and I think he was just accurately, very well portrayed. And going to close the draft with Master Soul.
Well, when you need someone to lead your team into certain death, at least you know who to call.
I'll do it.
Rod is not having it. He's like trash. Absolute trash.
Trash. Boom.
The way Lee Jung-jae portrayed him, though, was excellent. Like,
yes,
was fantastic.
Yes,
First role learning English, bam, like amazing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
The thing that upset me the most was the fact that he got scapegoated.
Yes,
like by Vernestra and the council. Like he was the cover up, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And yes, he was flawed, and I think, to Jordan's point, I think that's why I liked him as a character, because he was flawed, because he made mistakes and he owned the mistakes. Now, he wasn't necessarily forthcoming with the mistakes, but but he was flawed, and I thought the portrayal was excellent, and the fact that he got scapegoated by the council was just I couldn't believe they did like that.
Look, so, I'm gonna sound like those people that are like, that's Fluke and not actually Luke, but like that, none of that matches Vernestra's portrayal at all. And I understand time has passed, but they haven't done anything to fill in that gap yet. And maybe when they do, it'll make sense, but like it is a total 180 from how she is as a kid. And I know she's older, but like the fact that we get that scene where she's like, yeah, Soul just kind of went crazy and like did all the, it's like, that is why people hate the Jedi in the prequel era. Like what, that's part of their downfall. And I get that's probably what she's trying to do, Leslie Headland and stuff. And I don't really blame her for anything like that, but it's just maybe use a different character than Vernestra at that point is what I would say, because it just doesn't ring true. Maybe they'll fill that in and fix that. And, we've had that type of stuff in Star Wars before where you're like, that's kind of weird. And then they go on and build some story reason on why that happens in ancillary material, and then it works. But just always something that'll bother me with that show that I was so excited for and so excited to see Vernestra on screen.
Yeah, as a person who doesn't keep up with the High Republic stuff, like hearing friends who do compare like how she was in, the content that you guys do have. Like for me as like a first timer being introduced to Vernestra, I wasn't a big
Right.
fan. And so I can't imagine like the injustice y'all felt like with seeing that being portrayed in her story in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character assassination's real.
Yeah, and I know people roll their eyes at that type of stuff about certain stuff, but it's like that was a real case of it. Right?
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's like you should still be able to call out when it's valid, just because there's so much
Yeah.
out there that people, is invalid about. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. Like she has a book coming out as well that I think it's Wayseeker coming out this year. Some people have already read it from the advanced reader copies. I don't know if it really clears that up, but that's something that I guess to look to when we're looking at her story going forward. But who knows? Also, if they're not going to do an Acolyte season 2, hopefully there's some sort of comic or something that can finish the story that they were building on. But I just think the show's too expensive to probably continue.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our draft. Let me go ahead and read out the teams one last time here. So I led off the draft. I had Obi-Wan, Yoda, Kit Fisto, Rey Skywalker, Stellan Gios, and Master Soul. Sean has Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, Revan, Avar Kriss, Porter Engle, and Leia Organa. What a last pick. Like, people are going to be like, how'd she fall that far?
Yeah, I think that's the team right there.
Ron had Luke Skywalker, Cal Kestis, Ben Solo, Mace Windu, Jackie Lan, and Yord Fandar.
Yord Horde?
And Tiara had Qui-Gon Jinn, Count Dooku, Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, Plo Koon, and Pong Krell.
That's a really good team, too.
It's a strong team.
It is a strong team.
Yeah. Jordan, I think we got showed up on our own show today. Jeez.
We may have. Okay. If while we wrap it up here, I guess let's start with you, Sean. Anywhere that people can follow you on social media if they want to get more of your Star Wars takes.
Yeah, so you can follow us on X, Twitter, at Force Dyad Pod. Same thing on Instagram and YouTube. And you can catch us or all of our sort of past episodes on any podcast platform you might prefer. So
awesome. And then Tiara, where can people find your work?
Yeah, so if you enjoy cosplay making, collecting, going to conventions, etc., you can check out my channels. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok, and on Threads. I post like super random Star Wars thoughts on Threads like all the time. So, username is crafton_on_ILUM.
Yeah, great name. And you can find Ron and I.
Plug the store. Plug the store too.
Oh yes, I always forget because I'm just like, yeah, okay. Yes, I'm not like, oh yes, buy my stuff. So I have a small shop that I do like my own fan art merch type of thing, and I just released a whole bunch of stuff for Andor and for Revenge of the Sith, and I thought they came out really great and I'm really excited about them. So if you are interested in fan art and merch and all the cute Star Wars stuff, check out my shop. The link to my shop is in my bio, and I also have a separate page where I post the designs like by themselves before I actually make them into like, the actual product. So that's just Crafton on ILUM shop.
Nice. We'll put all of this in the description, everybody, too, for Sean and Tiara. So just scroll down, you'll get all of their information.
You can follow Ron and I at Soups and Sabers on all of our social media. I'm usually the one that posts on those, but Ron is, we have him linked on the bio of all of our stuff as well, so you can follow Ron there. And yeah, so happy May the 4th. Thank you all for watching and listening along, and we will catch you next time.